Now, good afternoon, persons of quality. This is your brief introduction to both summer reading novels. This is homework for Thursday, the first night of the academic school year. Now, there's a reason why I initially slid my chair over in this direction. We'll get to that, or perhaps you'll get to that in the next 24 to 48 hours. But I think that's kind of an important idea, always observing your surroundings. For example, the peace frog on my shirt might also be hugely significant. Now, if I'm looking at major themes in both of the summer reading novels, I've taught Catcher in the Rye 25 years. I used to teach it 4 times a day. I read it in high school. Probably read this book more times than any other book. To be completely honest, I cannot stand Holden Caulfield. And specifically, how he refuses to take any responsibility for his actions in particular. And I think that's a significant element of this novel because as I'm looking at my notes, as you can see them here, we're talking specifically about identity and how Holden Caulfield is trying so very hard not to accept any responsibility for growing up. He accepts no responsibility for flunking out of 4 prep schools. He wanders around New York City for 2 or 3 days, getting himself into all kinds of trouble. So as you review what you've read in this novel for this week and for the summer reading test coming up next week, I want you to pay attention to the reasons why, or the reasons he gives for getting kicked out of the 4 prep schools. I want you to look at his interactions with Ackley and Stradlater in particular, and how he interacts with men in general in this novel. You could probably include Mr. Spencer. You could probably include Mr. Antolini to really get an idea of how far you can go with his character. If we look towards the end of this summer reading unit, I'm probably going to ask you to write a 2-page, 2.5-page reflection on why Holden Caulfield is the way that he is throughout the course of the novel. Also, look at his interactions with both Jane and Sally and how he uses those to sort of justify how he sees the world as a character. I think it's important, too, if you look at his relationship with adults in this novel. That's also going to be significant. Now, you realize I just gave you 3 different things to think about. And at 3 minutes and 17 seconds into this video, that requires you to take some notes. It requires you to back up and make sure you have the info. When I look at passing, I just... Nella Larson, I forgot her name for a brief moment. I think that novel, too, is about identity, looking at Claire and Irene and the sort of interactions between the two of them. You have one who's passing for white in a novel that's all about racial identity, which I think is very important, especially when you look at the interactions between each woman and her husband and the role that each plays in society. If you look at what happens at the end of that novel, where Irene, accidentally on purpose, pushes Claire out the window, and how all of these elements sort of help to explain, sort of funnel down what's important about the novel and its themes. I wrote down for passing that identity, the same as Catcher in the Rye, but this time it's about race and power and emotion. You're going to find with me that a major theme throughout the course of the entire semester is this balance between logic and emotion. Or maybe a better way to put it is the particular imbalance between those two. So this is a good start and a good, I think, chunk of what you're going to use to do well on your summer reading test, which should be Tuesday of next week. How you're going to do on your first initial writing assignment for me, so I can see what you kind of come in with from last year. So I think those things are going to be important. And just to make sure, because I'm at the 5-minute, 16-second mark, this is the fall play. It's called You're Only Young Once. 2 weeks from now, you're going to start hearing some major announcements about auditions. So if you're interested, come see me. Okay, hopefully you've watched this and I can track that you did it and we should be in good shape. Hopefully you also paid attention to your surroundings. Let's do this again. All right, persons of quality, have a great day.